Hey, everybody.
Hi, Nick.
Oh, hi.
Morning.
Is Mr. Adam here? Hmm.
There he is.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, good morning. Cool. There's Adam.
I saw his name in there.
It's true. It's true. It's all coming together.
In the hat.
All it takes.
Cool.
Let's see. Okay, here. You guys see the
Oh, boy.
homework?
Oh, Lord. He's coming straight at us.
Uh,
I'm a
Good
minute
morning
late.
to you too, Adam.
Yeah, totally. Good morning, guys.
all right.
Okay. Oh, boy. Here we go.
Yeah. I'm not even going to pretend my brain can kick in this fast. Let's see.
Let's see. Haven't tried
The first
reading.
one was kind of it's kind of a throwback to the first because we've kind of been harping on the same point for the past two classes. So it's kind of a throwback to the first one, just worded, I guess, in a little different way.
What two factors that decide, I don't know, are related to an object belonging to either obvious or hidden reality are the person perceiving the object and the time.
That's right. And you guys have do you have the terms?
De and yo.
What about well, I mean, yeah, in another way, what about for the perceiver?
Right. Yeah, not Yul, but the other one, Yul Chen.
Nope. There's a po on the end.
Yul Chen Po.
Roxana put in the chat, Topapo.
Yeah, Topapo. Roxana, you're hitting it.
Throwing down.
Hey.
Wow.
And then for the present moment.
Panda?
Close. Yeah, very close. That's part of the first
syllable.
Anybody?
Dummy.
Dun, 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 dun,
Got a couple Tani guesses out there.
Nope.
No.
Definitely there's a Don, and there's a Don there though.
Tadon?
Nope.
Okay.
Thanks for playing. I wish we could give like parting gifts, you know?
You can.
Can, yes.
You don't win the money, but here's a box of rice-a-roni.
Yeah.
Look under your chair.
We can start to do this.
I guess I'll just go ahead and throw it out. Throw it out there. So it's Tatarki Nekab.
Oh, wow.
And
You did say that right there in the answer key. Yeah.
Okay, so what consequence would arise as a result of leaving these two factors out of our analysis? What term does KJ use specifically to describe this consequence?
Senichiwa?
Yeah, Zenichoa, definitely.
Nice.
The answer that I wrote is because it kind of well, it kind of dawned on me, just the more I was thinking about it, because it didn't quite make sense as to why they would get mixed up, and I had a little bit of a breakthrough. But can you guys have any ideas why exactly he said that they would it would be a definitive example of mixing something up?
Well, I thought the one reason he kept describing is because one object could in fact have many different, realities based on many different perceivers.
Mm-hmm.
And then the time would be the same thing, is that nothing is one. It just depends on when you look at it. Things can change from one status to another over time. So you can never say that it is one thing. It just depends. It's totally time dependent. If there's something more than that, I can't remember.
Yeah, no, that's
there's more than one person looking at that one moment. There's multiple realities going on.
Yeah, exactly. And here, I'll so if we didn't identify who was perceiving as well as when they were perceiving, we could never specify, and I haven't looked at this in a couple of days, so I have to kind of make sure that I'm back up to speed here with this one too. We can never specify whether objects belong to obvious or hidden reality. If we leave these two factors unspecified as we evaluate the status of an object, the obvious would become hidden and the hidden would become obvious, is what he said. So for instance, and this was my take on it, regardless of whether an object belongs to obvious or hidden reality, and I wanted to use ontological status in here, but I knew I'd probably get docked like pay for using that word. So instead of ontological status, the status of an object, which is obvious if we know who is perceiving it and when. However, the status of that object, regardless of whether it belongs to obvious or hidden reality, becomes hidden. So it kind of, I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but at the time it kind of like, it seemed like I had broken through into something. It's more so like the object could belong to obvious or hidden reality, but the fact that it was obvious or hidden would become hidden. And the other way around.
To anyone perceiving it, yeah.
To anyone perceiving it.
Other than one perceiving it, yeah, it's hidden. Except
and the last one was kind of it didn't come directly from the text, but it was an observation that I heard Geshe-la make that I thought was pretty poignant and relevant, I think, to our study of logic in general. So with regard to spiritual realizations, why is our discussion of hidden reality important?
Because it leads us to understand that there's things out there that, although that they cannot be perceived by us, they can be perceived by some people easily, and those things could be of the utmost importance to our daily lives, and therefore realization.
Totally. Well, what about a few examples?
I mean, karma and emptiness are the big ones.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect. So I was wanting to put something in here about like past and future lives, karma and its consequences, so the fact that all beings have been your mother, and those are all shining examples of things that might be hidden. And you've got to kind of use the tools of deduction and meditation in order to suss these things out. So that's my quiz, and
yay.
We'll get down here to the translation.
Hey, let's see here. there's a small thing, you know, if I want to bother you, the ba'ang in the end of the first line. You could say it's also incorrect or something like that.
It's also incorrect.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, good. Yeah. It's a small thing. When you say because it's case, it's the case.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You have to say because it would have to be the case.
Okay.
It's a tenure.
Yeah, I was gonna say it must be the case.
I would say because it would have to be the case.
Okay. Oh geez, man, I'm having a hard time this morning.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't have to do a homework. Yeah, that's all. And apparently that's not the case, right? So he's kind of giving an example of what shuktok means. And shuk means power, right?
Yeah.
But in logic, it means indirectly, or by indirect means. He's saying this kind of sema would have to be perceiving its object through indirect means. And what indirect means is, in order to see its main object, it would have to observe some other objects along the way. And that's kind of the definition of shukdo. Okay, so Rangi Shelja, Rangi Shelja Mayimbe Shelja Gashik, some objects of consideration which are not its own object of consideration.
Right.
It would have to see those first directly. And then due to their influence, it would perceive its own primary object of consideration, but it has to go through to perceive its primary object of consideration. It has to first stop along the way and see some other objects of consideration, which are not its main object of consideration. Okay, something like that.
Okay.
And that's his definition of shukdo. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think he's going to say that all both Jepak and Muslim can be shuktok and ngutok, direct and indirect.
It's coming down in 292.
Yeah, and that's something that we were getting into the other day, you know. So, okay, let's go to the 291.
All right.
Yeah, good. That's perfect translation. Yep.
All right.
That's also easy. 292.
Can you read it for people who don't read English so quickly?
Oh yeah. Well, you may be wondering what's the meaning of direct and indirect perceptions.
Thank you.
Yeah. The Kachik is saying, well, okay, so that's an indirect perception, but can you kind of give your ranglug? Can you explain what you believe about direct and indirect perceptions? And that's what happens in 292. Yeah, he's promising us this dun at the end, dun dang sum, dun is part of each of the three. And so at the beginning, you would just say, on this point, there are three topics, you know.
Instead of meanings here?
Yeah, because meanings belongs to inside each topic.
Okay.
And this dun means meaning, and not the three duns here mean meaning, not object. Okay.
Okay.
So the first one is in general, what is the meaning of direct perception and indirect perception?
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez. Hold on. I can't type this morning.
It's okay. It's Monday morning. You. I feel like I'm back in New York, commuting. I used to commute for 4 hours. You can appreciate that, I guess. In general, what is the meaning of mental images which are either direct or indirect?
I hate to keep repeating in general here, but
in general is not repeated on the second one. Yeah.
okay.
And then what does it mean? What is the meaning of yeah, good. And that's the tough one.
Yeah, it sure is.
The tough one. Yeah. How can you talk about direct and indirect versions of direct accurate perception? Okay. That's the tough one to chew on. And by the way, K2J, he's going to give it 4 or 5 pages of really outer space stuff. And then at the end, he says, I got more of this stuff, but I don't think you guys are ready for it. And, so, okay, number 3. Yeah, I would repeat in number 3. What is the meaning? You see?
Okay. Yeah. Why I left that out?
Yeah. What is the meaning when we say that indirect accurate perceptions are either direct or indirect? Good. Sorry.
Indirect perceptions, which are, yeah, that should be good, right? Indirect accurate perceptions, which are either direct or indirect.
Well, I'll tell you, on 2 and 3, we got to handle the, well, hang on. And we got to reflect the talks in here, the RTOGS.
And that,
what is the meaning of direct accurate perceptions, which are either direct realizations or indirect realizations? You see what I mean? We got to.
Yeah.
So
and I saw
yeah.
that. Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and by the way, Tok wanders around here. It sometimes it just means to perceive.
Mhm.
Sometimes I will translate it as grasp, to leave the ambiguity, to retain the ambiguity. But I think here we can say realizations. Yeah. The implication, by the way, whenever there's a ratatatana no tokasatok, he's just reminding you that it's a correct perception. Ratatatana no tokasatok is never used with a mistaken perception.
Right.
And if you take the S off, ratatatana no tokatok, it's always incorrect. So he just wants to say, by the way, we're limiting ourselves to correct realizations. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. You can say I realized he was trying to get me when I thought he was helping me. And that implies that, and thought means I thought he was helping me, but I realized he was trying to get me. That's a perfect example. I thought is and then I realized
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right, good. And we're looking forward to it, aren't we, Kramer? Explain to me how a direct perception could be indirect.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, I've been waiting for that.
Yeah.
Nice job, Adam. Nice job on this homework and on the translation.
Thank you, again.
I've been working on your Dura. It's quite good.
Yeah.
We're almost up to page 400.
Yeah, I'm gonna be interesting to look at it again because it's been a couple years. So.
Yeah, you've grown a lot since then. I've grown a lot in my tummy. All right.
Now, I did go looking through Siddhanta with the sutras to see if there was any help for this problem, and I don't really have an answer, but I wonder if it's going to be tied to the way they supposedly like to connect direct and indirect perception to Rangtsen and Chitsen, to specific objects and generalities.
Yeah, that's definitely coming. Who is Ava there? Is that ballet girl there?
Yeah.
Hey, ballet girl. Hi, ballet girl.
Can you say hi?
Mountain climbing ballet girl.
Mountain climbing and ballet girl. Hi, woohoo.
She, I sent that picture of you the other day of her asleep in the recliner over here.
Yeah.
She woke up just soon after that and rolled back over and was like, I'm just going to sit here and listen to the class. It's like, she's just like, I'm just going to sit here and listen to the class for a little while.
Oh.
I was on a plane with Scott and Arit one time, and they both fell asleep with their computers in their laps and their hands like this. And it was like a night flight from Beijing or something. And I was taking pictures of them. And the stewardess came up and said, "That's not very nice."
And what's happened to me? Falling asleep at parties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was fun. Okay, here we go. And I think it's this one. I just mean some people get irritated if you take photos of them when they're asleep. I don't think Ava's like in that category. Hey, B, there's a nice bunny out there. 2 bunnies. Uh-oh. Okay. Wait, we finished. Yeah, what the heck do you mean then by direct understanding, realization, and indirect realization? Okay, here, and by the way, we got to keep remembering what are these 3. So his first question is, what's the general meaning of understanding something directly and understanding something indirectly? Well, I'm going to tell you, 293. Please read, and Dr. Kramer's dying to check you while I eat my toast.
Specifically, that was my specific hope.
Hambo ni tema te yulte la kola kachok shin nampa sharwe to ki nyeshe jeki loshin la te medun drimpa ni yote nguso tokpa dun yin la.
Yeah, good. Let's go to the end. The meaning of perceiving something directly, okay? The meaning of perceiving an object directly is, okay? I think den is important here. What's den, Adam?
So like to guide or lead?
Yeah. You can say elicit a perception or draw out a perception, or, bring on a perception. Okay, you bring on a perception. How? The sema, the accurate perception, is directed towards kachok.
Kachok.
Okay, you direct the mind. Low kachok is going to be important in this conversation. And low kachok means you aim you aim the accurate perception towards the object. Okay, low kachok.
Okay.
And then the object sharwas in the mind. What's that mean?
It appears or arises.
Yeah, it makes its appearance in the mind, and due to that, due to the power of that, okay, due to the power of that, you get a ascertainment of the object. You ascertain the object, okay?
Yeah.
You have an ascertainment. Ascertain contains the word certain, and so does the Tibetan word ngeshe. So ngeshe, and in order to get that ascertainment being elicited by aiming your mind at the mind, and the object making its appearance in the mind, you don't have to tupa on a lotion.
You don't have to depend on anything else.
Yeah, no other state of perception. Okay. So you can point your mind at the object. It can make its appearance in your mind. You can ascertain it then. And that process is elicited without having to rely on another state of mind. Okay. That's the definition of what?
Sorry, 1 second.
Sorry, I know she's asking you stuff. She wants some breakfast.
I've got her breakfast on the table right here. She could. She's just like running around the living room right now. So
she wants to get your attention. Okay. Adam, I told you not to teach her to talk. By the way, did you take that picture behind you?
Yeah, no, that one I got off the internet, but I've taken her up there before. We've been.
I know. I've seen some cool pictures. Okay, so that's what it means to perceive an object directly. Okay, that's what it means to realize or grasp an object directly. Okay, what's coming up next logically in this logic text?
We'll be talking about point number 2, right?
Well, if I just describe what it is to perceive an object directly.
It would be, yeah, that's right. Because each one of the topics was, each one of the third from the previous was dealing with indirect and direct, and how each of the 3 had both.
Yeah, so now we're going to say, well, what does it mean, generally speaking, to have an indirect perception? Okay, an indirect realization, which implies a correct perception, right? When you use ratatatano no toka satok. So shuktok here at the end, the last line, line number 5, it means, what does it mean? That's what it means to realize something, which always implies a correct perception, indirectly. So what's the process for an indirect perception? Please read, and Dr. Kramer is still checking you, and I'm still eating my toast.
Yo tela danta loka machok kyang tema te riki sheljang waso shelje toki yo tela ka gadang tupar jondok chetsarwe chi lo kachok pa tsamgi tema shin la te met dung epa kewar kurwani shuk toki don you know.
Yeah, wow. Okay, here we go. Yo de la tata lo ka machokyang. So I'm not directing my mind at the object I wish to perceive with my indirect perception. Okay, I am not, in the beginning, I'm not directing my mind towards the final object. Okay. Tema de rangi shajangu so showe toki. Kaptan tumadona chet sane. But my tema takes, and here's a different shelja, okay? It takes a second, what do you call it? Intermediary object of consideration, right? Shelja. It takes a shelja, an object of consideration, and it considers shelwa, that second or that intermediary object of consideration directly.
Yeah.
So I have to think of something directly before I can turn my mind to the final object I want to think about. Okay, it's like you're thinking reasons to do something, and then finally you decide you should do something. You're not perceiving directly what you should do at the beginning. You are considering reasons why you should do something. And those are called intermediate objects of consideration. And those are perceived directly. Okay? So I stop off on the way to my destination. It's like a bus stop. I stop off at a couple of stops to get to my final destination. And that's called indirect perception. Okay, so same. And by the way, those intermediate stops are direct. It makes sense, right? I directly stop a few times. Depending on the situation, Kaptan Tumbar. Drondokche is going to be a very crucial expression in this discussion of direct and indirect perception. And generally, what does it mean, Adam? To cut the drondok.
To cut the incorrect.
Yeah.
Yeah, to cut the indirect perceptions.
No, to cut the overestimation.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
What would it be in the kitchen?
It would be to be considering that your partner is upset because, or because they've been in traffic, or
good.
Was ready when they came home.
To think that your partner's being to think that your partner's being uncooperative because they had a rough day is jondo. It's putting stuff on the situation that's not really there. And then when you cut that jondo by realizing that however your partner's acting is coming directly from your seeds, then you have cut the overestimating or putting a reality on the situation which doesn't belong there. Okay. But here it means to ascertain the stops on the way before you get to your destination. Okay. Here it means to ascertain, what do you call that? Ascertain. Draw an image, right? You draw an image correctly from nothing. Okay. You draw an image and of the intermediate stops, sarve. And once you have drawn an image of the intermediate stops, such as reasons why you should do something, then later you can just direct your mind at the final stop, at the destination, and without any longer using other accurate perceptions, you can generate, or you can have born in you an ascertainment of the final stop. Okay, so here's the general meaning of indirect perception. You can't get to the final object directly. You have to go through intermediate steps. During those intermediate steps, you clarify those intermediate objects, okay? And during those intermediate steps, you are perceiving the intermediate objects directly. So it's like you stop at several stops on your bus ride, and you see those stops directly, but the whole process is indirect because you have to stop at those little direct perceptions to get to the final indirect perception. When you get to the final indirect perception, it becomes an independent perception that no longer relies on intermediate stops. Okay. Whoa. Okay.
Okay.
Yay, Ava. Whoa. Hey, Ava. Whoa.
Oh, he likes the way you found everything profound.
Yeah. Boy, that kid's gonna be a strange logician ballet dancer. Okay. All right, read the next one, and Nick wants to check you.
Nipa ni rangi shelja de nampa nuso sharne tela trondok chopani ngunsum seme ngutok kidun yinse pena ngunzin seme ngumpoi nampa nuso sharne ngupo la trondok chopa tabuo.
Yeah, good. So sorry to be chewing. The second of our three discussions, if we go back up here to 292, was what does it mean? I'm sorry. He's starting to discuss what it means to have a direct perception, okay? To perceive, to use a direct perception to perceive something directly, okay? And then he's gonna say, what does it mean to use a direct perception to see something indirectly? And here we go. Rangi Shelja number, did we read that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Rangi Shelja de number Shane. The object that it's considering, its aspects directly appear within the perceiver's mind, okay? And they, Drondok Chud, here Drondok Chud does not mean they remove mistaken overlays. Here it means they ascertain it or they draw it in the mind, they outline it in the mind, okay? They, how do you say that? They like cut out things that are not relevant and they arrive at the object, okay? You can say
home in.
Say again?
Home in or hone in?
Something like that, yeah. Okay, anyway, they ascertain their object of consideration through its appearing in their mind directly. And that's what it means when we say direct accurate perception has seen something directly, okay, has realized something directly, okay. It ascertains the object through the object's features appearing directly in the mind and not through intermediate bus stops, okay. And then he gives an example. For example, when ngon zin ngonsam tema, what's that, Adam? Ngon zin ngonsam tema. We had it in your other book.
Ngon zin. Oh gosh, man.
This really means ngumbo. Ngumbo.
Yeah, blue.
It's like so blue. I mean, right?
Yeah.
Perceiving the color blue.
Yeah.
I mean,
when you have a direct, accurate perception, which grasps a color blue or which holds to a color blue, okay, the aspect or the image of the blue musushar in the mind.
It appears in the mind.
Yeah, directly.
No,
and,
directly.
When that is how you ascertain blue, we call it a direct realization of blue by a direct, accurate perception. Okay. Cool.
Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Yeah.
Well, I wish. Okay. Now, but here's comes the interesting part for Dr. Kramer's waiting for this one. How is it that a direct perception, direct accurate perception could perceive its object indirectly? Okay, that's the big question. All right, Here we go. And Nick, you gonna read this one more time with this guy?
Yep. He doesn't make any mistakes, but I'll pay attention.
I tried to make some mistakes out of if you have compassion.
Rangi Shelja, te nampa mususharne te la drondokche toki rangla nampa masharwe chu shenya shenla yang drondok chapani ngunsum tseme shu to ki denyende.
Yeah, and this is a fascinating one because we are theoretically, we're talking about a direct perception which uses indirect means, okay? A direct perception which travels through indirect means. And what happens? And it's difficult to read. Rangi Shelja, what it is, the object which it has under consideration, day number the aspect of that object which it has under consideration. Musu Sharne, directly appearing, de la drondo che top. It ascertains, it, how do you say, what do you call that? It,
Like a
like in a
ride.
bus station and you see many people and you pull out the one that you want.
Discriminate.
It's similar to discrimination, but
Yeah.
anyway, you gotta think about it.
It distills.
Discern.
Almost like that, almost like distill, because it's almost by elimination, okay?
Also,
So-
rule out.
Yeah, but it has to be the result of rule out.
Identification.
There's a
Distinguish.
word for it that bothers me. I'm gonna use discriminate for now, but okay.
Gosh, it's not discern.
Well, let's use discern. Yeah, we'll use discern. I think it's the closest. We can't say deduce because it's not JPOC. We're talking direct perception. Moving by indirect means. Okay, anyway, so Musu Shana de la Dondo Chitopki Rana Namba Mashar. Here's the key here. It ascertains its object not through a discernment where the object appears directly in your mind. Okay, so the masharwa is crucial, and I would like to read the apostrophe I as some kind of soft disjunctive. Okay. So Rangi Shalja de Nambangusu Sharne, the aspect of its object under consideration directly appears to the mind, and then it ascertains it, and that's how it goes. No, that's not how it appears to the mind. Rather, Chushen la Dondok Chupani, you have to in a way eliminate other aspects before you can get to the one you want. Okay, so we're going to be talking about the process of elimination to reach an object, and here it's called Chushen la Dondokcha. Okay, you're going to have to eliminate other possibilities to get to your object. Okay.
I mean, would this be the same thing as I think a POA, like the elimination of other in order to arrive at?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So that's the definition, and it's a very tough definition of the indirect form of direct accurate perception. Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's, and by the way, he's gonna go to an illustration which is more difficult than the definition.
Well, good.
Yeah, it'll give more context. Yeah.
Okay, he's gonna help us with something that's even more difficult. Okay, thank you, Kid J. Stanley, come on, are you still in Singapore? Probably, looks like.
Yes.
Every time you go to Singapore, you get a Singapore haircut. Do you know that?
Well, I don't have other choice here.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you could go to Johor Bahru and get kind of a more. Okay. All right, here we go, Adam.
Perna, Pumpe, Dak Bay, Sachoki Nampa, Mus Sharne, Nepa Chang Toki, De Tangi Bum Me, Bum Meki Nampa. Thanks, Stanley. Bum Meki Nampa Musu Mashar Kyang. Boom, yuki drone dok ching, lo kachopa, sam yimit, boom, medud, nepar, kirwa, tawo.
Yeah, okay, hang on. This is going to take a, let's see here. Here we go. What? Okay, here we go. So as an example, he's going to take as an example the process, and this is very tricky by which, through direct, accurate perception, you see that something is not somewhere.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Okay.
he's going to describe the process that you go through to use direct, accurate perception to ngepa, to ascertain correctly that something is not somewhere. Okay, and that's going to be his example of what, you guys?
Indirect.
Yeah, the indirect form of a direct, accurate perception. Okay. All right, here we go. This doc is pretty important here. It means emba. It does not mean pure.
Oh, itself.
No, bereft of,
Wemba.
bereft of, not there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's take a sachok. Let's take a place in your house which is lacking a coffee cup. Okay? So let's take a table where a coffee cup is not. Okay. Okay. So that picture of the table with no coffee cup on it, it appears to your mind directly. Okay. The picture number of a table without a coffee cup appears to your mind directly. Okay. And it brings on a certain realization. Okay. Ngepa tongue. It brings on, that's the past tense of
to like interpret or
past tense of den.
Yeah, to lead.
Yeah, that we had up here in 293. Okay, there's that den. And now we got the past tense of it. So you bring on, you elicit tongue by eliciting a certainty that of an object called an empty table where there's no coffee cup. Okay, you bring on that. Even though, now here's the tricky part, Dan Kramer, that you're going to be interested in. De Tengi, on top of that place, on top of that table, okay, actually, there is no appearance of some kind of picture called no coffee cup.
There is no appearance of
mashar. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Musu mashar. No, there is no direct appearance of a picture called no coffee cup.
Okay.
Okay. You are looking at a table on which there is no coffee cup, but in that tableau, it's not as if something called the lack of a coffee cup is appearing to your mind.
Okay.
Okay, Kyung, even though you don't get a direct appearance in the mind of no coffee cup, you do Jondokche Bum Ye.
What you
do eliminate the misperception that there
is one.
Is a coffee cup there. Okay. You eliminate the drum dog, the overestimation. You eliminate you eliminate the, what do you call that? When you think something's there and it's not.
Pigment.
It's the wrong idea.
What's the verb? You eliminate the
Overestimate.
Collaboration?
Misconceiving.
I don't know, there's a word. Like it's almost a paranoia. You're making up things that aren't there. Okay.
Delusion.
Yeah, you could say you eliminate that delusion that there is so you are eliminating a wrong idea that there does exist a coffee cup there, but the lack of a coffee cup is not making its appearance in your mind directly. Okay.
Whoa.
Okay. All right. Lokachopatsamki pumedunepagira. Once the elimination of the existence of a coffee cup on the table has come into your mind, then by a simple next step, lokachok, by simply turning your mind to another half inch, okay, lokachok patsamki, then you can ascertain that there's no coffee cup on the table. But first you have to go through a process of eliminating the possibility that there was a coffee cup on the table, because otherwise you couldn't identify no coffee cup.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And that's an interesting idea. Now it'd be interesting to ask Hidup J, do these, by the way, are we talking about indirect perception by direct perception, right?
I just don't. Yeah.
Direct by indirect. Direct perception by indirect means, isn't it?
Oh yeah, direct perception by indirect means. Nice, Tony. I hate it when your English is better than mine. Yeah, you are using an indirect means to perceive directly that there's no coffee cup on the table. But to get there, you have to eliminate the possibility that there is a coffee cup on the table. So you are perceiving directly that there's no coffee cup on the table, but you have to get there to indirect means of eliminating the possibility that there is a coffee cup on the table. Because if you cannot imagine a coffee cup, you cannot perceive that it's not there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Gesla, as Peter's saying in the chat, it seems like, if I understand correctly, this is a sort of mundane way of starting to talk about how we have to identify the gakcha, the thing that is missing from a lack, in order to be able to understand a lack.
Yeah, I would say, Peter, that there's no sentence in these interminable logic books which is not aimed at helping us see emptiness directly. Yeah. Every single sentence of this book, the intention of it is to help us to see emptiness directly. That's pretty awesome. And I'm working on Adam's section 1000. Okay. And I'm like, God, 1000 sections just to get to this point. Okay, cool.
1600.
So yeah, this would imply that we have to understand the gakcha before we can eliminate it. Yeah, I mean, this is a very similar process. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like you could just really switch out Bumba here for like a two-headed purple elephant for something that could never
exist. Very beautiful. And that's what Peter is so wisely saying. Okay. All right. So Pete, so no, I'm not going to pick on Peter for reading. Stanley, you want to do one more line here?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks, Stanley.
Sure.
Teyang Bumpe Tape Sacho Su Bumba Mepe Namparang Toki Jin Nuki Bumpe Tape Sacho Sempe Wang Poi Ngunsum Semate Sacho Kitengi Bumbe Te La Ngunsum Mayinte Teyang Bumba Me De Tun Shin Kangshik Te La Wow, this
gets heavy, okay? I mean, heavier. Okay. If we take a location which is what do you call it? Free of coffee cups? Okay, which is empty of coffee cups, okay? And when you decide that there is no coffee cup there, okay, yeah, that ascertainment, that certainty that there is no coffee cup there is elicited. The process we just described has the power, Nupa, to elicit a perception rantoki, independently. Whoa. Okay. But but a direct, accurate perception based on a sense power, okay, which holds that, which is grasping to a place, which is holding as its object a place where there is no coffee cup, okay, a direct, accurate perception tied to a sense power of the eye, which is holding that, which is grasping to the tabletop where the coffee cup is not, okay? That doesn't happen to be a ngunsum, a direct perception of the lack of a coffee cup on top of that table. Okay. The direct sense perception is considering a tabletop where there's no coffee cup, but it does not directly perceive the lack of a coffee cup.
Okay.
Okay. Whoa. I was loving this.
We are over time. We're over time, Geshe.
Okay, let's finish. Because a tabletop where there is no coffee cup and the lack of a coffee cup in general are different objects.
Yes.
They are not the same object, okay? And it's not as if the perception of a table where there's no coffee cup is directly having in its mind the image of no coffee cup.
Say again, I'm sorry, one more time.
That
Please.
direct perception of the senses of a tabletop devoid of a coffee cup, that's a good word for dog, devoid of a coffee cup, is not directly perceiving the absence of a coffee cup.
Yeah. Whoa, okay.
That cannot appear in the mind. That cannot appear in the mind at that moment. It's looking, it's perceiving a tabletop where there is no coffee cup, but the lack of a coffee cup cannot appear, that picture cannot appear within the mind at that moment directly.
So boss, are we saying then that it's got to be, since the sense powers, the 5 can see the place where a coffee cup would be without necessarily seeing directly the lack of coffee cup, that only the mental sense power, though he didn't say it directly, but that only the mental sense power could be the one to directly see a lack of coffee cup.
Yeah, that's coming, okay? But I warn you, he's gonna disallow deduction.
Right.
Okay, that's gonna be our next problem. Year 223. Sorry, 523. Okay, Adam. Anyway, I think every time I read your working on your text, I think you're so brave to climb those mountains called logic books. Okay. All right.
Thank you. Thank you, Geshe.
All right. Good job. All right. Good luck on your next homework. I almost don't want to be there. Okay.
If anyone can do it, Adam can do it.
We're gonna have to, brush up on it before 6 o'clock next class. Okay.
I can take my coffee cup back out from behind my computer now. I was hiding it there to help me think about this.
Okay, Ava, bye-bye, Ava. Grandpa says bye-bye.
Amy, you can wave goodbye.
Grandpa says bye-bye.
All right, she's enjoying reading.
All right. Let's see you guys in 5 minutes or so.
Yeah.